Welcome to episode 13 of Fables from the Pickled Quipper. Let's see what happens next, shall we?
Where last we left off, as you waited out the night to recuperate from some injuries, Silvarius and Eska saw what looked like a dragon's face in the trees. Eska was shook. Silvarius was headstrong, went into the woods and went looking. Did hear something as he continued to patrol, walked into the woods, discovered a confrontation between undead and massive elk, ran back, grabbed the rest of the folks who had, at that point, slept long enough to receive the benefits of a long rest, and everyone charged back into the woods. So you fought hard. Eventually you were able to fight down the undead. So a conversation took place, and the elk led the party to a refreshing stream. I believe, Eska, you saw someone in the trees, correct?
I did.
An elf who introduced herself as Kindrith, explained they were passing through, and were on their way to see the court of Bofin. And eventually you are brought out to the court of Bofin. A court being held by Olwyn, an emissary of Titania, and a unicorn. With him, there were all manner of fey creatures, both seelie and unseelie, which is to say, nice and not so nice. You spoke with Olwyn, thanked you for your efforts in cleansing the temple, also made you aware of rising shadows in the woods. Kindrith also brought this up on your travels. Satyr made mention of an issue with boars on the north side of the woods. Something they were acting bizarrely and unnaturally. He asked if you were heading to the north side of the woods to check in on that. At that point, I think Kindrith decided she needed to leave, at which point she turned into a massive gold dragon and flew off. Just before that, Eska had managed to speak with Olwyn, and he agreed to that you had basically the freedom of the woods. You were welcome there. You're welcome to rest and return whenever you wanted to. It's sort of like broken down into little groups, just chatting away. And I mean, the drow is actually engaging in some of the conversation, but still like shackled. They don't seem concerned that the drow's going to make a break for it or anything, and just...
I personally, Eska doesn't have any pointed questions towards anyone aside from the drow. It would more just be a sort of, just an excitement of getting to see all these creatures and just sort of, introducing.
Yeah, I can give you some names here. Obviously, Olwyn you're familiar with. The dryads, Mistis and Zinnia. Mistis is the one who handed the ring to Eska. The centaurs are Orison and Zeratos. There's a wood elf ranger, Elanis, a high elf in the sort of the purplish robes there. They identify themselves as a cleric of Maliki, and go by the name Mindartis. Maliki is in the sort of like the main typical pantheon.
Fun fact, Claire's goddess is Maliki's mount.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, LaRue is the friend and steed of Maliki.
Maliki is also the sister of Eldath, which may be relevant to one of you.
Oh.
The stone giant is Areg. The treant is Deep Root. The satyr is Hippolytos. And the goblin is Eeks. Through sort of like generalized conversation for those that are sort of mingling, you learn that Hippolytos is sort of officially there as a representative of the Unseelie court. There's not really good and evil necessarily within the Fey realm. There's sort of more chaotic and order. And Hippolytos is from the chaotic side. And you see he has a very healthy sort of like a horn filled with wine. Mistis and Zinnia are representatives of the Sealy Court. Orison and Zeratos represent they sort of interchange between tribe and herd of centaurs that occupy a portion of the Bofin forest. Eeks is one of the leaders of the Withertongue tribe, not in the forest but nearby. The elves, Elanus and Mindartis, are in a similar way to Kindred. They're sort of passing through. Elanus looks approximately, you would guess, kind of like a ranger. So leathers, a longbow, and a lot of sort of very earthy, natural colors to their equipment. Mindartis is a little bit more extravagant with their attire. Arig was sent specifically on behalf of the Storm Giant King Irok as a representative of the Ordering of Giants. So when the courts meet, they often try to bring in various different aspects. And Stone Giants are known for their ability to... They bring wise counsel. Obviously, Deeproot is a resident as well of the forest. So you pick these little bits up, little bits and pieces. There's also some pixies that are sort of flying through. Swift Shadow, Briar, Wallflower, Foxsong, Glitter Veil. It looked like Glitter Mole. I couldn't read my own writing. Glitter Mole did not sound right. And Rose Willow is their leader. And they sort of scurry back and forth between everybody. Spend a lot of time hanging out with Deeproot and sort of like playing in the leaves of his... effectively of his hair. It's kind of his hair.
Do any of these guys seem particularly more noticing or interested or worried by any of our group?
They would absolutely kind of be drawn towards Claire and Cassette simply because there's a common bond there. Silvarius maybe a little less so. There is a distinct lack of scaly folk here. No one is sort of like openly shunning anyone. Those with a passive of, say, 13, 14, probably notice that Bardor's getting a little less attention than some of the others. This feels like a safe space, and Owen says as much, like, why you just... This clearing is a consecrated ground. No violence is permitted in this clearing. Eska, please make a sanity roll.
So 12.
Okay. Well, I don't have to tell you. You feel shook.
Yes.
This has been a very unexpected turn of events. You're sort of you're having to balance two very conflicting feelings of like your excitement to be in this place, to be around these fey creatures, and just everything else that's kind of going on inside.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any sort of direct impact. It's not like you're suddenly gonna just pass out or anything.
Yeah.
But you're sort of just thrown into conflict.
I think there's a lot of... I think in some ways she's maybe still in... She sort of goes into a sort of shock, and she hasn't sort of processed it yet, and she's just kind of putting it to... sort of trying to put it to one side.
Yeah.
But it's there in the back of her...
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. That's definitely in line with how I would imagine that. After a little sort of mingling, you do have the opportunity to speak with the drow. So Deeproot actually accompanies the drow over. The drow's been placed into Deeproot's care. But yes, you have the opportunity to speak with the drow.
So I'll say in Undercommon, what are you doing above ground? To the drow.
He kind of looks at you for a second. He can kind of... he looks like he has just got the scent of something unpleasant. And then you realize that actually, since you've walked in and since he saw you, that's been his expression. Like this whole time. Unhappy. And as much as you've been watching him, he's been watching you. I needed to get away from the madness.
What madness?
Cracks a smile and says, it doesn't matter. It's still in my head anyway.
Where are you from?
Underground. Now I am here in these woods.
I just kind of spit on the ground and just tell the others in common that I don't know how cooperative he's going to be.
I'm very cooperative, he says in common.
And I'm pretty much just going to huffily stalk away before I draw a weapon. So I'm just going to go over in the corner.
The young elk kind of wanders over to you and sort of tries to nuzzle you a little bit.
Okay, yeah, as Bardur starts walking away, Silvarius steps up.
Yes, you have been agreeable. Alwind made mention you were a refugee, and you made mention of madness. What would cause a drow to leave their home?
You say refugee, I say captive. I fled because of the sounds in my head. The voice talking to me. I did not care for that voice. Had a way of speaking, though I never saw his mouth move. And I couldn't take it any longer. Unfortunately, his voice follows me still. He told me many things. He told me to delve, to kill, to hunt, to prepare.
Prepare for war.
Unfortunately, that was never made clear to me. We were always making preparations. Yeah, we all had jobs. I am sneaky. I can get places others cannot. I can travel better above ground than most.
If you're so sneaky and good at traveling, how did you end up in shackles?
I came to the forest for help. It appears there is a slight trust issue.
You as well as us know the history that sets this relation as such. History can greatly influence your opinions of others.
And Silvarius kind of like side eyes Eska.
Eska avoids the look best she can and says, "What is your name?"
Thiala.
And you sought help to rid yourself of this creature?
I hoped, yes.
Give us a minute. And she'll try and motion the others to away whoever's close by. Their kind, our kind. There is history. If he is seeking the same goals as perhaps in this seeming enemy, an ally.
Do I happen to overhear any of Eska's conversation?
I imagine we would have moved a little bit closer, maybe away from.
I think if it helps, I would have made a point of not going too close to you. Because I sensed that maybe you would not have a positive response to this, so I wanted to check with the others first, if that makes sense. I feel like he could be a potential ally, though I would not trust him per se.
Are you sure? You're awfully quick to trust.
No,
Just but
I said I would not trust him, but I would view him. I'm sometimes willing to work with those who I do not have full trust in if I feel like we can work together to a productive solution to problems.
Well, knowing you as long as I have, I feel that
I don't know. I don't want to be too quick to judge. He's the only other person I believe we've met who has seemingly run into this creature, and he seems equally as antagonistic towards him as we are.
indeed. I am not counting him out by any means, but steady as we go,
In-
as the humans.
Indeed, I do not know whether we will convince Bardur of this, even if we feel it's a good idea.
He need not be involved if it comes to this. Certainly him bearing his axe into him would not benefit us.
This is true. I guess Eska will wander back over and say, we too have encountered this creature.
Nice of you to come back.
Hello again.
What do you know of it?
We were encouraged towards similar things. What did it call itself again?
The purveyor,
The Purveyor, that's right.
And
I will not forget.
you see Thiala actually shudder slightly at the mention.
Seems you know.
I know.
Our fear is that at some point, I don't know, I don't want to put words into others' mouths, but my fear is at some point, unfortunately, we must delve down to rid ourselves of this creature. I feel like he has an unnatural interest in us.
You think the five of you can take care of the purveyor? I admire your optimism.
And clearly underestimate our potential.
He's standing very proud.
I don't doubt your potential or your abilities. You just don't know what you're getting yourselves into.
Truth be told, I would rather never go down there again.
A wise decision.
The problem is, I have the same issues you do. I have
What
heard him
issues?
in my head.
And you know how powerful he is?
I feel we got a taste.
You are lucky. Many of my people got more than a taste.
I do not think it is something we wish to pursue now, but perhaps when we have established ourselves a little more in the area and got a bit more idea of what is going on, we may have to delve back down there and see what this creature knows. I believe it may know something of our current plight and our displaced situation. We may just have to face it at some point. And my question is this: if you are still here and we come back and are able to persuade the court to let you go, would you come with us and help rid yourself of this madness?
You want me to go back down there? To fight?
Are you free up here?
Caleb looks down. I suppose not. Make a persuasion.
All right, I'll make a persuasion. That's gonna be 22.
Maybe when you're ready, I will go with you. You are not ready yet.
I concur.
I imagine I will be here for a while. I don't have much agency, so
Yes.
if they say I am to stay here, then I am to stay here.
It could be a way to free yourself twice.
You may have to do some convincing of the others. And he kind of looks up at Deeproot, who's still sort of looking behind him, but hasn't been involved at this point, just kind of sitting there, watching as things unfold.
Indeed.
Deeproot,
Yes.
do you, if I may ask, do you hold this elf as a prisoner just for their nature, or have they done something in particular to cause you issue?
We believe they were involved in some of the darkness until they
The
proved...
issues you've been having, you said? You mean?
Perhaps. The darkness is not just restricted to the forest. If they prove themselves, we may be willing to look more favorably on them.
And I look back down towards him, and I say, are you the cause of this darkness?
What,
just
all of
kind
it?
I stare intently into are you the cause of, or are your people the ones causing this court problems? I just stare intently.
I believe indirectly, perhaps, yes.
How so, indirectly?
The caves where we lived underground extend far, very far. They extend below these woods and on. I am sure that some of the work he had us doing could have an effect here.
Who had you doing?
I will not say his name.
So,
What kind of war?
I mean, I told you, some of it I knew about, some of it I did not know. It was, we were brought under his control. A great many of us. And they are bound to his will, his wishes. There are others too. Not just drow like me. Other peoples. Different horses for different courses, yes?
I look back up at Deeproot and I say, it sounds as if this drow has been part of the cause of your problems. It is not willingly. So
I'm standing right here,
perhaps...
I heard it.
I'm sorry, you're so far up I wasn't sure if it travelled. But yes, if that is the case, perhaps when time is right, it could be a chance for us to take him along to help prove the innocence. What better way than through action?
It can be discussed and considered.
That is all I ask for now, for we, I believe, are not quite ready to make that journey ourselves. Esther kind of looks around behind her and just to see if there's acknowledgement on this and what she's been saying, if people look encouraging or if they look like they disagree with everything she said.
Subtle nod of agreement.
It's about as good a confirmation as you're going to get, I think, from him.
Yeah. How do Claire and Cassette look?
When Eska mentions not wanting to go down just quite yet, Claire like shakes her head vigorously in agreement.
Yeah, because that would be very hesitant to She definitely doesn't feel like we're ready and we're in way above our heads, but yeah, it has hopeful, but that could be a long way away. She's still very overwhelmed.
Yeah, I guess Eska just turns back and says, I thank you both for your time and honesty.
If you need me, you know where I'll be.
Indeed.
He sort of rolls his eyes.
And then I'm just going to back off.
Taking a cue, Deeproot starts to walk back. Theala just sort of gives you a vague nod and walks back as well.
I'm sorry, Silverius. I just figured he may be... I thought maybe elf to elf, he may be more forthcoming.
Well, I see where you are coming from. I've not known the drow to be cooperative with, well, anyone for that matter.
I was...
Even though...
I was a little surprised, but I don't think they... I think of all the elves, us moon elves are most separated from the inner conflicts between the various sub-races, so perhaps he viewed me as not quite so antagonistic. Or maybe he just spoke to me because what choice does he have? He's a prisoner. Either way.
He was afraid as well. Rightfully so.
If we can trust what he said, that's some pretty useful information. It gives us a bit more. I mean, it's useful, though it's scary. If this creature can control an entire group, a clan, whatever, of drow, that's a powerful creature.
It may not be just the purveyor. He did mention his master. And
oh dear.
Being as powerful as an Illithid. For them to have an ultimate master, well, surely it is much stronger.
I know little of below ground, but that is not a comforting thought, whatever the situation.
I am less than educated in it myself. However, we do have perhaps an insider. We should probably acquaint ourselves better with Bardur in matters as such.
Yes, he does seem... He seems well versed in such matters. Has he calmed down yet?
What's Barter look like?
It's kind of short, got a beard.
Yeah. Just, I guess in a word, he still looks peeved.
Back to normal.
Uh-huh.
His regular disposition.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bardor's like those, those, I remember there was an old, I think it was a birthday card, like the many expressions of the Irish setter, and every single one of them, it just looked happy. And the description for every emotion, was like happy, sad, angry, but it was always just this gleeful face.
Mm-hmm.
Bardor's similar, but different, shall we say.
Yes.
Having had a chance to speak with Theala, once the council has sort of finished with its business, there are a number of other creatures who come out into the clearing, and they bring food and wine. There's more elves, more dryads, a couple more centaurs. There's even a couple more goblins who come out. By the time everyone's kind of gathered, there's probably 3, maybe even 4 dozen different creatures sort of milling around the area, all talking and drinking. You see the satyr pull out some panpipes and start playing a tune, and soon enough, some others start singing along, and one of the sprites has a small flute as well. And it's generally just a sort of a cheerful, a relaxed kind of cheerful vibe.
Amongst the festivities,
Mhm.
Silvarius is still kind of like he's a little relaxed, but he's not like having a kind of a jolly time. He's kind of trying to eye everybody and see if there's anybody that's less than I would say regular looking. If there is anybody that's maybe a little out of the ordinary, outside of maybe Thealo.
Make an insight roll.
This is like the court of the out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
That's an 8.
An 8. Yeah, I mean, so you kind of look around to gauge the main feeling you get. Anyone who just kind of rubs you the wrong way. The only one who really doesn't sit well with you is the satyr. I mean, he does have a couple of companions with him, satyrs or fauns, something like that. You're not quite sure what it is that kind of irks you. Something just feels a little off. You're not sure if that's actually a thing or if it's because you know they're from the Unseelie court. And wants to sort of explain to you what that is and who they represent and that sort of thing. If it's just merely the fact that they're sort of sent from this court that kind of craves chaos and disorder. If it's just knowing that is what rubs you the wrong way. So, you can all receive the benefits of a short rest while you're here.
I think
Yes.
Eska's shock would kind of kick in once she'd finished sort of interrogating the drow, and she would observe the party, but I think she'd have like a distant look in her eyes, and she'd probably just observe the rest of the time, sit under a tree and watch.
Under the same tree Bardor's sitting under?
Probably a different tree.
That sounds fine. Yeah, I mean, because I'm pretty much just sullen and quiet, not really interacting with anybody at all. So,
I think she'd respect your need for that and take on her own need for it as well.
Yeah, Cassette would be sticking close to Claire because I don't know if she feels like the other three are more confident and seem to be, taking the lead, and she's still very hesitant. So she kind of sticks to
Yeah.
Claire to feel comfortable.
Claire pretty much just looks like an awkward little fangirl. Like she really wants to go talk to some of the court, but she just doesn't quite know how to do it. So she's just kind of like hovering awkwardly outside of other conversations, laughing at the wrong moments, that kind of thing.
Like the wedding you get invited to, and you don't really know a whole lot of people there, but
Pretty much. Yeah, exactly like that.
everyone else is having a good time, so you're trying to have a good time.
The two of you probably, at some point, Mindartis would come over to you and sort of, you could have a little sort of shared religious conversation where you kind of exchange notes, you're kind of all on the same team, kind of, sort of. There is at least some camaraderie there. So, once you kind of have had a chance to eat and drink, it's, say it's probably about midday at this point. You get the feeling there might be a bit of a siesta happening fairly soon. Early morning drinking and partying has led to a sort of a loss of energy come midday. Definitely feels like it's sort of quieting down a little bit. So, what would you guys like to do?
I thought about talking with Olwyn again if anybody else were to follow Silvarius to.
Orwin,
Yes, Silvarius.
I assume your meeting and discussion went well, given by, well, this.
Yes, this was a relatively good meeting, though, frankly, certain members of the court would be joyously gallivanting around whether we had a productive meeting or not. It is just their nature.
One wonders if they should take matters more seriously. but I guess sometimes it cannot be helped.
Surely denying one's nature is to limit your experience in this life.
Possibly. I did wish to speak with you on a couple of the matters you previously
Very well.
discussed.
Sylvaris kind of like stands a little extra tall and proud, and
I wish to further introduce myself. You know my name, Sylvaris Grootrock. That whom I work for, I did not mention. I am a knight of the Order of the Dawning Sapphire. We hail far to the northwest, north of Neverwinter. I am a little outside my normal boundaries, but I do find myself to be honored by your presence. You are the first unicorn that I have interacted with,
We are not many.
and dare I say nay.
He kind of gives you a smile.
Do you know of my order? I wish not to assume.
The name is familiar, though I've had no dealings that I know of.
It would be unlikely so. As I mentioned, we typically handle ordeals to the north, somewhat by coincidence, doubly so, that we are here. We stand against darkness. And I promise, whilst I am here, I will do my best to clear such matters.
And so, why are you here, then? Not wishing to pry, you understand, but it is unusual for one of your kind to walk through these woods.
We originally agreed from the town of Delzimur to clear out whatever was the issue beneath Porfin's Tor. Somewhat stumbled across a necromancer. Seems to be he was causing trouble in the woods with the undead presence about.
Yes. Mostly purged, now we think. No thanks to you.
no thanks to us.
No, the other way around.
I was like, what?
See, this guy's kind of a jerk. I know he can't hear this, but this guy's kind of...
Lesson now, thanks to you. We'll edit that in post, it's fine.
In our previous encounter, we met the elk who were kind enough to lead us to the river, where we met Kindreth.
Yes.
Is there much more to know about Kindreth? She, I believe, visited us in the middle of the night and curiously vanished.
It sounds like the sort of thing she might do. She has a connection that even I cannot fully match. I am as much a part of these woods as it is possible to be, yet somehow her affiliation with the world around her is stronger. When the necromancer fell, she knew. Something told her, and I suppose she was curious to see how that happened.
I see. Can be a bit alarming. Not all dragons are kind and curious.
I haven't had many dealings, but she has always been good to us.
Good to know. Dragons are powerful allies.
And I dare say terrible enemies.
This too is true.
They would go back and forth in general discussion, and eventually
Mhm.
he would lead to just
Just before the planar event Esther had made mention of earlier, we encountered a wizard, presumably by the name of Duarte. This name does not ring a bell, does it?
I have no recollection of this name, no.
This being a reoccurring trend. The rift, as mentioned, happened but a matter of days ago. Was there any sort of measurable change or surge in power here that you may have felt or witnessed?
None that I can recall, no.
There's a little bit of like a frustrated kind of like clenching of his fist.
That bothers me. Anyway, one more bit of questioning, just a curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
The people of Drakesburg, are they a good people?
We don't have much cause to interact with the people of Drakesburg particularly. Some folk from Delzimer come here, but only those who have good intentions return. Those without good intentions are quickly identified and persuaded never to return. Those on the island have no reason to come here to these woods.
But the people of Delzimer, you are acquainted with some of them? A few?
There are a couple who visit from time to time, yes.
Should we need to contact you later? Is there a particular individual we should reach out to?
There is a falconer in town. A halfling named Gethin. He is often found walking among the woods. I think he enjoys the solace of the woods as compared to the hustle and bustle of city life. He may be a useful contact.
Very good.
And he would chat with him a little bit more and give him another arm across his chest, kind of half bow in respect and appreciation, and eventually stand around.
Cool.
So in just kind of, not that she's getting into, a whole lot of conversation just because she kind of feels a little awkward, but because that would probably, because there's so many people who know so much about magic, if the subject came up, she might because she doesn't have a whole lot of information about the whole vision and the lock of hair and that sort of thing, but more just kind of asking people who have such knowledge about magic, what is possible if somebody has, something of yours, and how can that be used? That sort of thing. She doesn't remember enough to really, ask a clear question, but just generalities.
Yeah, you would, Arig, the stone giant, would chime in and say, "That is very dark magic. There are not many who would dare to practice that. Certainly not here anyway, but there are those who would." And he kind of looks over at Zinnia, who's there too. That sounds like hag magic, blood magic, hair magic. That's their doing.
She just kind of is not really responding, but just kind of looking down, trying to take it all in and kind of connect some of the dots, and just kind of absentmindedly putting her, her hand to where that hair was missing, and not really responding, but just kind of trying to take it all in, realizing that probably nothing good.
You got on the wrong side of a hag.
I don't know. I don't remember much. I don't know if it was... It feels like it really happened. But it was so long ago, and I don't know if it really did happen, or maybe I'm just imagining it, but I guess I should be cautious.
Oh, yes. Even Hippolytos and other members of the Unseelie Court don't associate with hags. But they are fey creatures just like us. They are dark creatures. Powerful creatures. And if one of them has something of you, then that's... Just pray they have no need of you.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry to bring up a somewhat darker subject in kind of a happy,
Oh, no, you're
joyful
right.
place like this, but I appreciate your information.
And they kind of drift back onto a jollier subject, and the little dark cloud that is Cassette moves away from their conversation.
She just kind of walks back and joins the group, but is kind of quiet for a little bit after that, and kind of looks over at Bordor as she kind of reads.
Is Cosette generally like always quiet and like kind of
Here,
just
yeah.
kind of now?
I mean, yes, in this story, certainly. I think she had confidence, kind of feeling like I've read and I've trained and I've prepared and I've studied with the best, and I come from, a family that's trained me, since I can remember to be the best that I can be. And then this happened, and it's like she does feel confident still, but that, like, she's kind of rethinking, like, no amount of book knowledge or training can really, it's so different in the real world. And so she kind of she does come off as like not confident at times. And she kind of has to muster her confidence to kind of hold herself like she's used to. It's just so different for her, that she's kind of doubting, what was all that training for, but still finds that, in combat or when she's pressed, she goes back to that training and can kind of not think about it. And so, the instinct is there. And so that's why I think she has, been able to put the doubts aside and not think, and just in combat do the right thing. And that's kind of giving her confidence, but she's still, a little doubtful about if she can really do this. Hearing about the hag stuff didn't probably help her confidence too much.
So, early afternoon. Many of the partygoers are now sort of drifting off, and you can see that there's some sort of camps set up. You notice there are no fires lit. There are what look like they would be sort of campground type, like little campsite areas, but with no fires anywhere. Sort of people are slowly sort of drifting off into their little groups.
I assume the group would sort of start to pull back together.
I don't know. You might find Claire under a tree with a cake in her hand, dozing off. You never know.
I mean, I will say that, like, the entire day since that drow, Bardor has literally been by himself and just looking at the ground. And even though he might seem cantankerous, this probably is another level. And, like, just not interacting with anybody or anything or looking around. Just, like, really intently focused on and thought.
Sylvarius walks up to Cosette and...
Very curious about you, Cosette. It seems in battle you're nearly unstoppable. Yet here you reserve yourself, fade into the back.
I know, and she kind of explains a little bit about like what I was saying before, and She says, like, I've been in many courts and I've been around royalty and important people my whole life, but this is so different. It's just taking me some time to get used to, but I'm glad we actually encountered some strangers that seem to be friendly, and that does help calm me a little bit.
Being here amongst them, even for me, is an honor. The courts of humans and their political games can sometimes be less than. But unicorns, giants, goblins, satyrs, for them to gather and accept us, truly an honor.
I agree. I'm kind of beginning to see that what I thought was a lot of experience was just a small piece of what's out there in the world.
So Varius is kind of like looking at Cosette as she talks, and he's like tilting his head, kind of like forward and to the side. And
Oh, you have much to learn. We'll converse more. But we need to stop wasting the day. I know you will be strong when action calls for it. When confidence is needed, you will need to improve.
She just kind of gives like a earnest nod, like she agrees, she knows, but just says, I'll do better.
I expect it. Now, go wake up that sleeping girl.
And he gestures towards Claire under the tree with her cake in hand. And
Cosette looks over and just kind of goes, oh, okay. Oh, she's at it again. Oh, Claire again. Like, just kind of walks over and gently removes like the cake from her hand, so when she wakes up, she won't drop it on herself. Kind of nudges her awake.
She just kind of pops up with a little bit of a start and immediately looks around for the cake that was in her hand.
I'll hand it back. Half eaten.
Oh, thank you. I must have dropped it when I dozed off.
You're welcome. I think we're beginning to consider our next move, so why don't we join the rest of the group?
She looks a little sad at the mention of leaving the area, but begrudgingly gets up and meanders back over to the group.
so Varius, he goes over and gets Bardur.
Eska sees people gathering and walks over.
Bardra, it's time we go.
He stands up, pats the elk like a bit of a goodbye, and
The elk slowly trudges off into the trees.
Does the elk have any fur left?
Not as much as you'd hope.
So where are we going? What's our move? Do we need to go back to town?
I say we head back to the door, retrieve our equipment, and head back to town. Yet, perhaps on our way we can investigate the boars, see what might be swaying them, or whatever is causing them to act curiously.
Bardo nods, kind of absent-mindedly.
Could Varius have asked somebody or brought up in conversation bandits
Yeah.
in the woods, basically, or there or around and about?
Yeah, you would have heard that they know sometimes bandits have snuck in and kind of used just sort of the extremities, parts of the extremities, to kind of use those as sort of little staging areas. But they don't stay in the same place for very long. They don't do any damage to the forest, and as such, there hasn't been any intent to kind of rid the forest of them because, they're not doing any harm where they're at. That's the sort of general vibe.
Yeah, Eska's pretty much, she's just been reflecting this last amount of time and has sort of snapped out of it enough to be ready for action now. So she, unless there's anything else to be done here, she will go and thank thank Owen, and let them know we're off to investigate the boars and head back to town, and hope that we see them soon and such. I guess we just get a sort of as best a pinpoint as they can give us on where the boars might be hanging out so that we can head in the right direction.
Yeah. The woods actually sort of go right up to near the town. So if you kind of head north, and then kind of walk along that area of the woods, you may, you don't know which way around it will be. You may get to the boar first, or you may get to the town first. It's unclear to you based on this, because obviously boar aren't stationary. Make a survival check.
11.
You're sort of in this weird situation where you feel more comfortable underground than overground.
I've done a little bit of tracking overground.
You can certainly make a check as well and see if you do any better.
When I see Bado looking not entirely sure. It is gonna be, oh, never mind. I don't know where I am either. It's an 8.
Yeah, you're a little turned around too. These woods have a strange feel to them.
I guess we'll just maybe head east, find a break in the woods, and if we find the shrine, or if we're not near it, at least we're at the edge of the woods and we can find it easier that way, and then we could go north along the edge of the woods that way. I think we should retrieve our gear first, and then we can move on.
Perhaps we could get one of the elk to help guide us.
All right, you have an elk friend.
Right.
It's actually not the young one. The young one has gone off to take a nap. This is the mother.
I guess we just head on back to the tour then.
So it takes you actually about an hour to get back. It seems you've kind of wound your way through fairly slowly to get there, but you do eventually make your way back. You make it back. You're able to go in, pick up your items. The path is sort of off in front of you. Delzimer is about an hour's walk northeast from where you're at, along the coastal road, which also kind of borders the woods. So you'd be you have the choice of following along the edge of the woods or on the path. If you would please designate someone to make a survival roll for you to look for boar tracks.
Undesignate.
Maybe I could.
As do I.
Maybe I could assist Bado.
So it would be a roll with advantage for Bardor.
Okay. 23.
Okay. As you are traveling along, the road takes a little turn, and you're essentially traveling due north at this point, right along the edge of the woods. And you think you might hear some sort of grunting or shuffling noise, and look around, and you see what looks like an area where the ground has been sort of torn up a little bit. That might be consistent with boar activity. So you're kind of walking north. Bardor, you would be leading, and along with Eska. The other three of you can figure out where you're at. And yeah, you see off to the west of you right now, there's indication that there may be there may be some boar nearby.
From the tracks, you mean? From the kind of disturbance in the ground, or from what we hear?
Yes. A bit of both. Bit of both.
Okay.
I think there may be some close.
How
Is it-
woodsy is it?
You're not kind of like into the deep woods yet, so there's some reasonable gaps between trees here.
No sign of anything no sort of dangerous feeling presence.
Nothing immediately feels particularly dangerous, no.
Did the boar sound distressed or anything like that?
Make a perception check. Oh. There's some sort of noises that you think could be boar. Yeah.
But here, 6.
Boar aren't really your thing. You just hear kind of some grunting. It's a little nondescript, really.
Should we head off in that direction to investigate further?
Why not? Maybe just quietly, in case they are very distressed. It's hard to tell from here.
If you will, please, let's have party make stealth checks if you are moving, or at least attempting to.
Yeah, I was going to say
17?
this should be real good.
9.
15.
7.
Let's see. So you start moving off the path and into the woods. And as you do, the snuffling stops. And there's like this sort of pregnant pause as you kind of wait to see what happens. So over to the northwest, you see 3 very large boar.
Larger than we've encountered before in general travel.
These are certainly very sizable. This is not your typical boar. If pressed, you'd say maybe this is a giant boar. The one that's closest to you bellows, shifts, and becomes vaguely humanoid. Kinda, sorta. This seems a good time to roll initiative, I think.
Is this a wereboar? This is...
18.
17.
Okay, there you go.
11.
Okay. I'm sorry, Claire got a 17?
Yes.
What on earth?
So I'm assuming this humanoid boar did not sort of look like it was trying to enter diplomacy.
Not so much. No, it kind of roars at you and starts sort of like pawing at the ground angrily.
Okay.
It is neither human nor boar right now. It looks like some sort of weird hybrid form, if you
Okay.
had to guess. So, Badur, you are up first.
Okay, so the mutating boar beast thing looks aggressive.
Very.
Do the boars themselves look aggressive?
They look like they are listening to the one who just bellowed. Yes.
Do I have good shot at him from where I'm at? Because there's like this tree in the way.
From where you're at, no. That tree is pretty much like the trunk is going to be right in the way.
I'm gonna give myself a bit of a angled shot here.
Okay.
I'm gonna go for the were beast thing. Take a shot at it. 14.
14 hits.
Okay, so 9 damage on that. And then I have the Tread Ambusher, which does an additional, 9. That was a 1.
It does not hit, and the arrow is lost to memory. It just fires off well beyond your target, and it is long gone. Next up is Claire.
If I move down here below this rock,
Mm-hmm.
would I have line of sight of the shifty one? It's on the edge of the tree, kind of.
Yes.
Don't know how big the trunk is.
You would, yes.
Okay. So she's gonna take off running, kind of duck behind the the rock a little bit, and she is going to cast off a handy dandy little firebolt for a 17 to hit.
17 hits.
9 fire damage.
And actually, Bador, when you took your shot, you noticed it did not do as much damage as you expected. The arrow hit it, but it's almost like it seemed to heal up slightly afterwards. The fire, however, does full damage as some of the fur catches aflame. Alrighty, Eska.
Do I have any knowledge of what this might be?
Make a nature check.
19.
You have not encountered this specifically before?
Mm-hmm.
Sure looks like... I mean, if you had to put it into words, you would say it's like a werewolf, but it's a boar. A wereboar?
So I guess assuming I think it's sort of a similar kind of creature,
Yes.
I guess what I'm wondering is, are they always considered bad, like evil?
Yes.
Or they are?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless, insofar as anything has a type, you think this is not a good... typically where creatures in general are assumed evil unless proven otherwise.
She just doesn't want to kill something that is not, I'd like to, if the tree next to me looks climbable, I would like to move a few feet over to it and then maybe climb 15 feet up. Or whatever.
How close were you to begin with?
About 15 feet.
You don't have an actual climbing speed, so you can get 7 feet up into the tree.
If that's all I can go, I will go backwards. I'm just going to sort of back across the path and draw a shot and hold it for when the scary creature gets into full view.
Okay.
Sorry, because I assume he's kind of behind the trunk a little bit from where I'm right now.
Yes, he would be.
Once he gets into full view, and ideally in short range, if that makes sense, once he gets a little closer. So once he gets within 80 feet.
Okay. Yep. That's a fine trigger. You can do that.
Okay, cool.
So it is the boar's turn. Yeah, he is going to come up all the way to here. And then his buddy coming all the way up. Ends up with Bardor. Unable to make an attack, however, as they did have to dash to get there. Cosette.
Okay, she is going to run up and get in between. She sees the board charging up, so she's going to kind of go meet it. Oh, 10 to...
That is a wild swing, unfortunately just misses. So Varius.
He is seeing the boar charge to Bardur and Cosette engage the other boar. He's gonna run past Cosette.
Keep that one occupied. I'll get the one off Bardur.
And he's gonna run.
So that was a dash action?
Thinking about it, not use the dash action. I'm gonna use my action to cast Long Strider and use my move to engage. And that'll be it. That way I have the increased move.
Okay. The one that looks somewhat humanoid is dashing all the way up and meet you in the flank there. But that is its full move. Back to the top, Bardur.
Okay. I am going to... I'm just going to back up.
It is going to take a swing at you with its tusks.
Yeah, that's fine. How high is the rock where Claire's at?
4 feet.
I'll just back up with my back against that, standing next to Claire. And I am going to take another shot at the werebeast.
Before you do,
Yes.
got a 18 on the attack roll.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay, that is 8 slashing damage is it. spins around and catches you on the thigh. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Got a 23, natural 20.
You briefly feel yourself feeling slightly feral, but nothing happens. I mean, you're kind of angry, but you're already angry, so nothing changes. You can take your shot.
Oh man, I rolled a natural 1 again.
Another one. So you were shooting at the
werebore.
At the werebore. It actually chinks off the pauldron of Silveris' right shoulder, missing its target, but doing no damage to Silveris. Eska, you do get to take your shot as the werebore comes through the gap.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot about that.
Good thing I'm here.
It's going to be a 24.
Yeah, 24 hits.
It's going to be 6 piercing.
You see the arrow lodge into the boar's thigh, but it just quickly tugs it out, and you see the wound sort of heal again slightly.
Okay. Seeing her friends kind of seemingly trying to attack the boars themselves, Eska kind of runs out up to the road and just says, "No, not them." And she's going to attempt to twin cast levitate on the boars.
Oh gosh. Okay.
It probably won't work. It's going to be a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. The two giant boar.
Yes, she pretty much just reaches out a hand towards each of them and attempts to lift her hands up into the air.
Okay, and what's the DC?
It's 14.
Okay. Let's say I don't think it matters because I've got one very high, one very low. So the boar that is currently over by Silvarius suddenly starts floating slightly off the ground.
I will push it the full 20 feet.
So you're moving it 20 feet up.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm moving it high enough, maybe 15. I don't want to be excessive. I just want to get it so it can't reach.
Right.
And he can't reach it.
And you are concentrating, correct?
Yes, I am. Very hard.
Can you move it around or just vertical?
Just vertical, really. But still, I can move it up and down like a yo-yo. It's fun.
Claire, your turn.
Ooh, okay. So, you see her just kind of slap her hands together in a prayer gesture and is going to cast Bless on Silvarius, Bardor, and Cassette. With that, she's actually gonna pop behind the rock and just kind of hunker down till her next turn.
You feel reasonably hunkered right now. So it is the boar's turn, and they look to each other, growl, and simultaneously shift.
Uh-oh.
Now this one is still levitating 15 feet up.
How do you feel about this now, Eska?
I'm going to be honest, she's going off this idea.
And the one that's levitating sort of like flails around wildly with a maul that it has on its personage, but it's just out of reach of Silvarius. Cassette, it's your turn.
Ugh, natural 1.
No.
Yeah, unfortunately that misses. There's no amount of bless that can save that.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Not a very impressive turn.
Silvarius.
Did I see one of these get hit with the arrow?
Yes.
And you said it looked like it was like regenerating or not doing as much.
Yes, it seemed to sort of shrug off some of the impact. Yeah.
Noticing that he's going to shift and reposition himself.
The werebore above you swings again, frantically trying to get you as you move away, and it fails.
And let's see how this works.
And then the frost is going to start like falling out of his mouth as he breathes, or he breathes out slightly and breathes in, and lets go a icy dragon breath.
Okay. Con saves from me?
Yes, to 13.
The one who's floating sort of manages to shift in midair, and the frost breath grazes him. The one right in front of you just takes the full blast.
6 damage.
Okay. And you see as the ice impact, and you kind of see these frost burns appear on their furry skin. It looks like that did as much damage as you would expect.
And going to action surge.
Okay.
And stab his sword into the ground. And kind of bring his hand up like a fist. And then like whips it out open-handed at him and casts a thunder wave.
More con saves?
DC 13 Constitution save.
Both fail.
12 thunder damage and a huge crack of thunder.
And they're pushed back 10 feet, correct? So
the flying one's got
flying
to be
one
like...
is actually caught up in the top of the tree right now. The one underneath sort of like picks himself up, dusts himself off.
I hate to say it,
Yes.
but I think that pushes him out of range.
Oh, of levitate.
Yeah,
Do they?
he's got to remain
have to
within
remain in
range. They do.
Oh, wow. So in that case, he goes into the tree and then falls down it, hitting everything. How high up was he? You said 15?
I will say it's a gentle fall. I say that. It says when the spell it says when the spell ends, the target floats gently to the ground if it's still aloft.
Given that it was a thunder wave that pushed him out of it, I'm going to overrule that.
He wasn't. It didn't leave the spell by natural causes.
Right.
He was 15 up. Yeah.
Yeah. So he tumbles down, hitting awkwardly and crunching a few bones. I mean, he seems still pretty healthy, but he is. He takes a bit of damage, but he's picks himself up and is ready to go. So it is now the original wereboar's turn, and he ducks his head down and just starts barreling at Silverius. And as he gets there, he goes with one initial gore and then quickly swings his head around and tries for a second attack as well. Okay, first attack is a 19 to hit. So with the aggression on this charge, you feel it does extra damage as you take 13 slashing damage as the boar gallops in and charges you and hits you head on. I need you to make a strength saving throw, please.
And don't forget your bless.
Yes, that would be pertinent right now. 25. You stagger slightly, but you are not knocked prone. I also need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
7.
Okay. Again, you feel this wildness flow in from the wound somehow. You're able to shrug it off. No immediate effect. And as it recoils from the initial blow, it actually was kind of caught off by how far it staggered you. And when it went to gore at you a second time, it missed. Okay, top of the round, back with Bardor.
I'm going to step a little bit to the right of where I'm at. And do I have a well enough shot at the were-beast that Silverius is fighting currently?
Yeah, you have ample
Okay.
ample chance
All right.
right now, yeah.
All right. I'll try to do a point-blank shot with my bow. Come on, be better. Oh my god.
God.
Another natural one.
Wow, that's 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Odds of that really quite small.
Wasn't there a natural 20 on something else in the middle of it though?
Yeah, it was a con save.
Oh, that's right. Your
So-
dice are heavily weighted. It's one way or the
Yeah.
other.
All right.
Some call him a con.
Yeah, basically. All right. So there's gigantic amount of frustration, I am going to, if I'm able to, stow my longbow and pull out one of my hand axes.
You would have to drop your bow.
Well, is it possible for me to just keep my bow in my left hand and pull out one of my axes?
Oh,
then?
yes, that would be fine.
Okay. Instead of stowing it. All right.
Yes.
Well, that's what I'm going to do, and I can't attack. I'll just stand where I'm at.
Claire.
She's gonna pop out from behind her little hiding place, and this time, her magical hammer will appear right here by this guy, green dot guy. That would be a 22 to hit.
A 22.
Yes.
Yeah, that's gonna hit.
So 4 force damage
Okay.
from that, and then from her other hand, she is going to shoot another firebolt at the same one
Okay. Fire away.
for a 17 to hit
Yeah, 17 hits.
and 10 fire damage.
So, the unicorn hammer swings down and bashes it in the shoulder, and kind of like opens up a small wound. And as you watch that, you just aim carefully, fire, and this little burst of fire explodes on that wound, conveniently cauterizing it. But the creature does look kind of shook, and he's starting to bleed kind of profusely at this point. He's looking a little rough.
With a quick little fist pump, she's going to run back behind her rocks, a little further actually into the rocks.
Yeah. Eska.
Seeing the need for speed, she's going to cast Expeditious Retreat. She's going to move back to this tree that I never went to, and I'm going to attempt to climb using my bonus action. I'll go 20 foot up. That feels like it would be out of range of these guys, right? Unless they climbed.
You think, yes, without climbing, they're not going to reach you.
Alright, I will just kind of brace my back against the trunk, and looking down at the boar fighting Cassette, I will fire down at it, see if I can hit it in the back.
Okay, take a shot.
18.
18 hits.
And that's going to do 9 piercing damage.
Okay. You take your shot, and it hits into the sort of like halfway down the rib cage. It actually stays in there, but you see the wound kind of heal up around the where the arrow is. It's actually kind of pretty well lodged in there right now. Like the hole that's there is definitely smaller than the arrowhead for sure. It's kind of healed up around it. Definitely not as effective as you'd like. So, Cassette, the boar that is next to you is just going to swing at you twice with its maul. First attack is a 23 to hit.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, for 10 bludgeoning. What it's going for here is like a big two-handed swing, sort of from right to left and then back across. Staggers you with the first one, and then as a result misses you with the second one. It aims for where you were, not where you are.
And unlike them, I seem to take full damage.
Correct. You do. The boar, who was unceremoniously sent into a tree, kind of picks himself up, is going to gallop up and over towards Silvarius, and again it dips down its tusks and takes a gore at you, while raising its maul up for a second swing. So the gore attempt is a 15 to hit, and then it brings its maul around, and it is a 14 to hit.
Miss.
Shocking. Cassette, you're up.
Okay. I'm going to try to use my anger to actually hit this dude.
Oh boy.
There we go. I'm not going to roll the blast. 26.
26 pre-bless. Yes, that hits.
For 9 bludgeoning damage.
Okay. And you give it a good old meaty thwack on the arm. And even as the flail pulls away, you can see some of the wounds start to heal up again. It definitely takes a meaty hit there.
Sylvarius.
He's gonna shift sideways, trying to keep himself in between them and Bardura as best as he can. And yeah, because I actually put my sword in the ground. He's gonna thrust his hand out, or clench it and thrust it out, and try a shocking grasp on the one immediately in front.
The damaged one? Okay, yep. 21 absolutely hits.
8 lightning.
Yeah, you reach out and just grab its wrist, where it's holding the maul, and it just, like, sparks of lightning shoot up and down its arm, and it's up the maul. And yeah, it takes, it shrieks out angrily. So as you kind of, like, take a moment and steady yourself and kind of draw on that energy, you look up and see that boar that you just electrocuted swing wildly at you in anger. And it takes 2 swings with its maul at you. First one is a 17 to hit.
Missed.
Just as well. It was nearly max damage. Second one is a 15 to hit, so never mind. They are swinging and missing at the moment. Bardur, we are up to you.
Okay, well, I'll stay behind the giant metal wall that is Sylvarius, and I'm going to chuck my axe at the damaged boar. Hopefully that will provide better than my longbow has this battle. All right, 22.
22 hits?
And 9 slashing. The one that was like really
the most injured,
the most damaged. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he's starting to stagger around a little bit as this cleaves into his. Actually, because Sylvarius is kind of hulking and has his arm raised, is like a little gap, and you throw it down. It hits him in the knee, and you just see this gash appear in his knee. And then as the blood starts to kind of flow down, you do see the wound start to heal a little bit, but you definitely know that was a good hit. Claire, you're up.
In her usual 1-2 method, the hammer is gonna float up behind the wounded one and try to bash him in the head.
Okay.
There.
Bash away.
Ooh, 12 to hit.
12 hits.
Oh, that's...
You notice they're not really wearing any armor.
That
Just
is
wearing slightly torn clothes.
4 force damage.
Okay. He takes the brunt. Yep.
She's gonna fire off another firebolt.
Okay.
Right at him for 15 to hit and 2 fire damage.
Okay, yep. Yep, there's a little trickle of blood now on his head from where he got bonked on the nonce. Just as he's kind of like, he reaches up instinctively. You shoot a firebolt right into his armpit. And he's not happy about that.
And she's gonna scurry back to her little safety place.
Eska, you're up.
Eska's just firing off shot after shot into the closest boar.
Yep.
Locked in with cassette there. It's gonna be a 20. Oh, natural 20.
Natural 20. Yep. Okay. Hits.
12 piercing damage.
12 piercing. This goes right into the hamstring. And you can actually, cassette, you can see as you look at it, the arrowhead is sticking out. It's gone all the way through the leg. There's a loud roar of pain. Anything else, Eska? You happy up in your tree for now?
Very.
Glad somebody with a bow's doing something in this fight.
Well, we got to take it in turns.
Yeah.
The boards, frustrated with their lack of progress against the wall of steel that is Sylvarius and Cassette, are going to switch it up. The board that is fighting Cassette is stepping away. Cassette, you may make an attack of opportunity.
I flail and miss.
Bless.
You do indeed have bless.
Ooh, yeah, okay. And it's close enough that it might work. Let me see. So, +2 for a 12?
So, yes, that hits.
Okay, 8 bludgeoning damage.
Okay, you catch it on the ribs as it goes past and sort of like pull away some of its light, like its sort of tatty shirt. But it keeps going. And it has seen Claire poking out, and it gallops down and charges at Claire. First with the tusks as it dips its head to charge. There's a 15 to hit.
Nope.
And then it swings around them all. 17 to hit.
Yes.
For 9 bludgeoning. And I will need you to make a concentration check.
Oh.
Oh.
Natural
Yep.
1.
Yep.
Okay, that's been a problem tonight.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it.
So,
Hashtag not blessed. Oof.
Nope. No longer blessed.
as Claire is surprised, as I don't think she'd really been keeping eyes on this boar, and it just suddenly appears around the corner and gallops at her, full hoof. The one who had been fighting Silveris just steps up and decides it's going to try its luck with Cassette. First with the tusks, and then with the maul. Is a 10 to hit with the tusks and a 15 to hit with the maul. I believe both miss.
Correct.
And Cassette, it is your turn now.
Is one of these look more beat up than
One
the
of them
other?
looks in really awful shape. The one due south of you right now.
Okay,
You can
the
see like impact
Alright.
wounds where the unicorn hammer is like bashed it in the head and it's kind of swaying.
Okay, I'm gonna
Okay.
go.
He should be burned, seared,
Frozen.
like
He is absolutely taking the brunt of the damage.
Okay, 8
18 hits.
for max damage, 13 bludgeoning damage.
Okay, yeah.
Nice.
Real nice swing here. You catch it underneath the jaw, and you see like it opens a real nasty looking gash that starts to heal up almost as soon as it happens, but it is still like there's like bits hanging out that shouldn't be right now. It is really on the brink. And this one, you kind of identify. You kind of got the feeling that this one was maybe the leader of the outfit. It's the one that kind of issued the challenge to you essentially and charged over. Looking at it, you'd say this one maybe just a little bit stockier than the other two, or at least it was when this started. Right now, it's definitely not feeling that way.
Okay, and I'm done after.
Okay, Silverius.
he's gonna keep his shocking grasp going on
Yep, hits.
for an amazing 1 lightning damage.
Yeah, another jolt goes through him, and he sort of lurches a little bit, and as he lurches, he kind of tries to. I mean, it's almost accidental in a way. He goes to swing at you with the maul, and at the same time, he kind of leans in, and his tusks come towards you as well. So tusks, that is a natural 2 on the die, so not going to worry about that. Oh goodness, the maul on the other hand, he almost tumbles over with the force of the swing. He rolls a natural 20. Dealing a total of 16 bludgeoning damage. As he just
This is the
puts,
green one.
he puts almost everything he has into this swing, and he almost falls over with the effort. But it comes in and just gets past the shield and just cracks you right in the torso, and you're pretty sure you heard multiple things crack. That is a hefty maul blow.
So Cassette's gonna use her reaction when she sees them hit like a clean hit. She's gonna use her reaction to channel divinity for rebuke the violent and force him to make a wisdom saving throw.
I don't know what's happening, but okay.
If he fails, he'll take radiant damage damage he just dealt, damage still goes through, obviously. And then on a save, he takes half.
Wow. Okay. He actually did make the save. So he's still going to take half damage, which is 8 radiant. So he swings through, cracks Silvarius, and as that happens, Cassette just sort of. How would you imagine that works? Like, do you?
I just imagine her like seeing it, like gore into him, and just like sticking her hand out, or I guess the flail's in it too, but just like sticking it out, and it kind of the energy like still Silvarius kind of falls back. But you can kind of see like radiant energy come from the wound and kind of like go up the arm and hit him.
And it, this radiant energy courses through this wereboar's body, and he tumbles. He is gone. That was exactly the damage needed to drop him to the hit point.
Yeah.
Very cool.
We don't want to waste excess damage.
No, absolutely not. Okay, well, so on my turn, my guy died. Excellent. Bador, it's your turn. You have a wereboar in front of you.
Do I know if do I know that Claire just got pounced on?
You probably would have heard that, yes. I'm
She
assuming
probably-
Claire made a noise.
There was probably a high-pitched squeal from behind the rock.
I am going to turn and run, and I'm sure that's going to give me an opportunity attack. I'm going to turn around and run, and I'm going to do a lunging jump off of the rock and I'm going to try to hit it with my axe.
Oh, he's going to do the Bador.
I am.
Okay, so as you try to reach away, it doesn't have time to swing its maul around, so it just ducks down and catches you on the leg, and it hurts. I've got another crit, I'm afraid. You take 15 slashing damage as you think maybe a tendon just got slashed. Something bad, real bad, happened to your leg. Nevertheless, the adrenaline is pumping hard, and you are able to run over, jump up, and swing.
Does that officially count as the high grade?
Yes, Anakin.
21, 10 damage.
Okay, yeah, that's a good old meaty chunk there. It's kind of like into the clavicle area, which is unpleasant for it. And yeah, you're currently sort of teetering on the rock. You have vague control of that despite the blood pouring from your leg right now. Okay, Claire, you're up.
So when the werebull comes charging around the corner and smacks her, she squeals, and in a panicky reaction, she holds both of her hands in front of her, and a big glowing ball of just pure magic starts to glow between her hands. And in 3 rapid shots, she shoots magic missile at the boar.
I did not know you had that.
That. For 7 total damage.
Yeah, you get these 3 little bursts of energy just rapid fire into the chest of the boar. And yeah, you feel it takes full damage from that.
Little hammer guy is gonna float on around here and smack the other one.
Looking for another skull to crack.
Yes, for sure. Ooh, that would be a 7 to hit. I don't think that hit.
A 7 does not hit, unfortunately, no. Eska, you're up.
How are our assailants looking?
So the one currently engaged with Cassette and Silvaris looks kind of rough. The I'm sorry. The one engaged with Bador and Claire looks kind of rough. The one engaged with Cassette and Silvaris looks pretty hardy still.
I will try and fire down at the one that Bardo and Claire are in combat with then. It's gonna be a 13.
Hits.
And it's gonna do 6 piercing damage.
Okay. Just a glancing blow, but it's still bleeding more. More damage is being dealt. It's just, it's a grind right now. You can see that. But
Yep.
making progress. The boar against Cassette. Once with the tusks and once with the maul, as it focuses its attention on you. The maul is a 15 to hit. Tusks are a 23.
Oh yeah, the tusk will hit.
Okay. Manages to push past with its tusk, push past the shield, and stabs you in the arm. You take 12 slashing damage. And I will need a Constitution saving throw, please.
21 on the.
Okay.
Also, ow.
You feel relatively fine.
And what would be your definition of relatively, Phil?
Still standing, but hurting a lot.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about.
Okay. The one over by Claire and Bardor, it's actually going to try and gore Claire and swing its maul at Bardor. It's kind of conflicted. It wants to take Claire down, but it really didn't like that jumping attack. The tusks on Claire, 12 to hit.
Nope.
As it recovers from that, it spins around, swings the maul at Bardor, 18 to hit.
Yes.
Okay, deals 9 bludgeoning. As it the huge end of the maul just comes cracking in and comes right in and actually hits you kind of like on the hip, on the leg that was already damaged. So you're definitely feeling the hurt from that one.
Okay.
Cassette, you're up.
I mean,
Oh, good.
Pretty
Another
much.
natural roll.
pretty much
So
did just
that's
flail.
Wow.
Yeah. That's like the 8th one this combat for us.
Yeah.
Certainly the crits have been in my favor, and the ones have been in my favor. Anything else?
I'm going to move around. I would, as long as I could stay and kind of guard against opportunity attack, I would kind of want to get in a position where I could see what was going on with the other.
So Varius is going to say he's going to try to grapple it.
Yeah, I believe it would be contested strength.
Okay, unnatural.
22.
Ah,
Yeah, I rolled a 19 on the die there.
good roll. Well, he's not going to say anything.
Watch this.
If I've seen anything, is you don't say anything until you succeed. Otherwise, you just look bad.
Yeah. Especially the way we've been rolling.
Going to stay near Cosette
Okay.
because he knows she's a team fighter. He's benefited greatly from her shield.
Badur, you're up.
Use my hand axe again.
Okay.
14.
14 hits.
6 slashing damage.
More bleeding, but also more healing.
I will stand upon my rock and be done.
Very good. Claire.
All right. Unicorn Hammer is gonna smack the one over there by Silverius and Cassette.
Yeah.
17 to hit.
17 hits.
9 force damage.
Take every bit of it and starts to look a little wobbly.
And she's gonna reach up and put her hand on Bardor's leg beside her and cast Cure Wounds on him.
Okay.
So he will get back 9 hit points.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Bardor, as you're kind of focused in on this boar, you feel Claire touch your leg and you get this wonderful warm feeling. You realize afterwards that it's just because she's sort of restored some of your health to you.
I peed myself.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, did I lose control?
Eska.
Everybody looks pretty rough, right?
Everyone's looking kind of battered. I mean, so with the boar. Most of your party looks kind of bloody.
Seeing this and feeling like she's not contributing enough with her arrows, she's gonna try it again. She's gonna try and twin cast levitate on the boars.
Alrighty. Okay. The one with Silvarius and Cassette saves. The one with Bardor and Claire does not.
That one is going 20 foot up in the air.
Okay.
And
It,
Eska will just continue to look at it, hand outstretched, focused on keeping it there.
Okay. Yeah, it is. It is up and elevated and flailing around, unable to do anything. Frustrated, the boar that is currently levitating just throws its maul at Bardor.
Tell me that maul is not on the bungee cord.
It's not proficient with this.
That's
I want
thankfully.
this to be a one-time thing.
It is still a 15 to hit.
Yeah, it hits.
Okay, it's not going to do full maul damage because this is not a swing. It's just literally throwing it at you. You take 6 bludgeoning damage as it comes down and cracks you in the head.
As I flail trying to cover my head.
Yeah. I mean, bear in mind, this maul is, it's probably like 4 feet long. The head of the maul is got to be almost a foot across. And it just... I mean, you didn't get hit with the head, you got hit by the handle, but it was still bad enough.
Yes.
It's coming down from 20 feet, so had some pace on it. Now the boar is just up there. It's kind of like patting its pockets, trying to find something else to throw. The other one is going to try and gore Silvarius.
Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? Can I use my reaction to stick my shield out?
You can.
I guess I'll just do it on the first.
Yeah, that's a good decision. The first attack was a crit.
Oh,
Oh god.
The second roll was a 19 on the die.
Jeez.
So you do not get the additional damage from the gore. However, it is still 13 slashing damage. 13 slashing, and I need a con save.
19 cons.
Okay. First of all, you guys may not be hitting as much as you like, but you have passed every single con save with the exception of the concentration check earlier. Everything else you have successfully saved, which is impressive.
Someone knock on wood right now.
And then
I gotta take.
the maul is swinging at Cosette as a 12 to hit, which I think will not hit.
then.
Okie doke. And Cosette, it is actually your turn now.
Cool.
Silvarius
not gonna
just got absolutely brutalized. He has a large gash running across his chest right now from where the boar was able to get its horns in through the armor.
Oh, okay. 12?
12 hits.
All right, and I am seeing this kind of getting chipped down. I am going to use my last spell slot to cast.
Okay.
So the first one is 8 blood,
Okay.
and then was it 2d8 radiant? Yeah, and then
So it's 12 radiant.
did the radiant damage seem to do more, or seem to?
It did standard damage. Eska, from your vantage point, you would say right now the that boar looks worse off than the one floating in the air. You probably have the best advantage to see this.
Yeah.
It didn't, and now it looks very bad off.
Okay.
Silvarius, you're up.
Silvarius is not one to back down from a fight, but he is one to realize he should probably be on the defensive a little more. Breathing heavily.
Yeah. Badur. there is a wereboar hovering about 15 feet above you.
Okay. I'll quickly drop my axe and shoot it with my bow. 11.
11 hits.
All right. 9 damage.
Okay. The boar can do nothing except get stuck like a pig. Hey!
Good.
Didn't even mean that one.
I am going to step back to there
Okay.
to kind of spread out just in case, so he can't attack both Claire and I in case he gets down.
Claire.
All right. She's gonna immediately seeing him up in the air, back up like Bardor,
Yep.
and she is going to cast a firebolt at the one in the air.
Okie doke.
18 to hit and 8 fire damage.
Okay. So as you step back, you aim up and just throw your little bolt of fire up there, and it explodes on the creature's chest, and it roars in pain and starts frantically trying to pat itself out. It is looking very rough right now.
Unicorn Hammer is gonna do its thing over there with Silverius.
Okay.
Oh, 10 to hit.
Just misses.
Yeah.
It's kind of lurching around a little bit, and the hammer I think it's been pretty consistent at hitting. It just misses as the boar managed to move out of the way and sort of glance the blow away. Eska.
Do I have a reasonably clear vantage down to the boar in front of Silverius and Cassette?
Yeah.
So I sort of absent-mindedly raise the other boar another 20 feet in the air, and then I spin round and I put a shot into the boar opposite them.
Nice.
Oh, natural 20.
Oof.
That's your second one tonight, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, my bow shots are on fire. It is gonna be 11 piercing damage.
Okay. Once again, the boar look about equally damaged. The floating one had looked worse off temporarily. No longer the case. Now they look about the same again as the arrow sneaks through the gap between Cassette and Silverius. The boar, who's just been shot, roars angrily and lashes out with the tusk this time at Cassette, and it's a 16 to hit. And then it angrily swings them all down towards Silverius. This will be at disadvantage. It will not matter. The first roll is a 12 total. The floating boar, all he's able to find is a couple of coins, and he just throws them down at Bardor, dealing no damage.
How much?
Yeah.
I spend my turn scrounging on the ground.
It's a couple of copper pieces. Cassette, you're up.
Okay. He's looking pretty rough, or?
Yeah, they're both looking pretty rough at this point.
Alright, I'm out of spells, so, flail away.
Hits.
Oof. Gross.
Okay. You think about going for the old classic uppercut. And just as you're about to go for it, you're like, oh, I don't know if that's the right thing. And you just kind of flip him. You're kind of in two minds. Deal some damage to his arm, but he's still standing. Silverius.
Does he? I assume that I see the flailing boar in the air.
You do indeed see a boar flailing in the air.
Okay. A bit of a surge of confidence in the turn of the battle. He's gonna get out from behind the shield and go for another.
Okay.
Jeez.
Oh,
Another one.
Gets his hand caught.
Yep.
Shucks himself.
You realize that being a metallic dragonborn has a certain amount of risk when using electronic or like lightning-based spells. And as you go to reach out, the lightning kind of arcs back against you. It doesn't do any damage, but it just sort of like runs the length of your scaly body and fails to do any damage, unfortunately.
For you.
Bardur.
Very fortunate. And he's gonna
Oh,
holler out
yeah.
to Bardur and Claire, and he's gonna be like, "Bardur, Claire."
Bardur, it's your turn.
Okay. Well, I had an arrow knocked, and I was like getting ready to shoot at it. I will turn around and instead take a shot at the other one that is by the tanks. 26.
Nice.
Yes, 26 hits.
10 damage.
So you're kind of like aiming up at the one above you. You hear Sylvaris, and you're like, there's like a sigh, and you spin around and just loose the arrow, and it goes right through the unicorn hammer and into the skull of the werebore, felling it.
And I will say you're welcome.
He glares at.
Okay, Claire?
Well, she initially had backed up to shoot at the one over there, but seeing Bardur so expertly take him out, she's gonna redirect back to the floating one and shoot another firebolt at him.
Okay.
Oh.
Hey, look, it's a natural one.
Oh my gosh.
And
That's remarkable.
the hammer's gonna float over,
Yeah.
and it can't reach him because it
it
can only
cannot.
go 20 feet. But it's
Yeah.
gonna at least try to make the.
Okay, so it's 20 feet away at this point. Eska.
So the hammer is 20 feet beneath him?
Yeah.
Okay. She's just gonna drop him down 20 feet, and she's just gonna fire off another shot at him. Seeing the other one's dispatched and that the danger is just down to this one.
Yeah.
19 to hit,
Hits.
and it's gonna do 11 piercing.
Okay. You skewer the boar in the neck, and it sort of like goggles for a second, and then just goes limp. Still dangling there, 20 feet up, but not apparently breathing.
She just calls out, "Bardur, before I drop him, make sure he's dead."
I pull out another arrow and shoot it again.
Right as soon as he does that, Sylvaris also fires
Yeah, you just bombard this poor wereboar's body repeatedly, apparently, and it. The only reason it moves is because you keep hitting it with things.
Satisfied, she releases the spell, and I don't think anybody sees it, but her eyes return to normal, and the little flecks of ice that were running up and down her arm kind of melt.
Does it slowly float down?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Then I go over and pick up the maul and throw it at his body as it slowly descends.
The spiritual hammer also takes a couple of whiffy shots at it.
By the time it reaches the bottom, the body is unrecognizable.
Eska jumps down.
I will begin to do the post-battle ritual of gathering arrows, axes, and looting bodies.
Okay.
Sylvaris slumps back on the rock.
Bardo, go ahead and make investigation.
Do I get half my arrows or less?
Yes, half arrows.
16.
Okay, I used a bunch.
Yeah, there were lots of things being fired and thrown and whatnot. 16, you say?
Yes.
Okay. aside from the moles that you find, which two of which are in serviceable condition, there's no armor or anything like that. You don't find anything immediately on the bodies. You do as you kind of look around. It does look like there is a over sort of in the to the northeast. There's a little sort of cache where it looks like they kept some items that they had scavenged or otherwise located. A small bag that appears to have a collection of lockets. You're not sure if this is from the boars before they were boars, or what. But there's 4 gold lockets. You think probably have some value.
Nobody collects lockets for any good reasons.
4 lockets, 3 boars. Strange.
Maybe they were going to open up a jewelry store and they just hadn't got very far.
It just decided to turn around
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, there.
There is also a small vial in there that has red liquid in it.
Does it look like a healing potion?
Kind of.
Kind of.
Suspicious.
Like, kind of, if I don't recognize it, I will, just kind of, shake it and be like, does anybody know what this is?
Those who are trained with Arcana may roll.
17.
You would both recognize this as a potion of greater healing.
Ooh.
Yeah, while he was kind of going through that, Eska would just pop up to Silvarius, put a hand on his shoulder and say, are you going to be okay?
I should be. Could use a minute to patch myself back up.
How far from town are we still?
Only about a 20-minute walk from town at this point.
Okay.
Basically, the road that you have in front of you, if you take that right fork, that's going to lead you to town.
If anyone's feeling a bit nervous about the last little leg of the journey, I do think I might be able to provide one last heal if you wouldn't mind waiting about 10 minutes.
Yeah, there's no disagreement from Silvarius in the.
Yeah, so Claire takes out a prayer wheel and just starts chanting for about 10 minutes, and everyone within 30 feet will get 11 HP back.
Cool.
How did the tusks on the boars look?
Several of them are
They didn't.
sort of
so
chipped
they-
and broken at this point.
There's no
Um,
nice big looking.
No,
Fresh.
the combat was fierce. They kept hitting up against chainmail and whatever else everyone's wearing, shields. There was a lot of tusk to metal impacts that really harmed the pleasantness of the tusks, unfortunately.
Okay.
And I mean, I do remember that you said that, that one guy threw coins, but it was just a couple of coppers.
Yeah, there's approximately, as you kind of sift through their pockets, you find about 5 gold's worth of coins in various denominations, but it adds up to about 5 gold.
Just be like, y'all want this?
You just want me to throw it in the...
Oh, what's that? The lockets?
Well, I mean, I can hand that over too, but it got about 5 gold worth here, coins.
Oh. Eska shrugs.
I mean, I'll just give it to Cosette.
I
okay.
wouldn't mind checking out the lockets though.
Sure, I'll give them to Eska.
Okay. You can use your jeweler's tools. Assume this is kind of happening while Claire's praying.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good, so it seems like a good time. It is gonna be a 10.
Okay. So as you just kind of look them over, you think, as you kind of pop them open, there are some pictures inside, but no one you recognize. and you figure actually if you were to remove the pictures, it'd probably fetch about 25 gold each, give or take.
Seeing that they're not sort of super exciting for possible editor, I'm looking for a word that's editing, but that's not the word I'm looking for. I'll hand them to Cassette and say maybe we can sell these when we get to town as well.
And I'll bring up. I was like, "Are you gonna sell the armor too, or is one of you gonna wear it?"
Or have we had a chance to look at it yet?
Yes,
We did, didn't we?
it was adamantine chainmail,
Okay,
I
yeah,
believe.
It is far too great to simply sell.
And what does that
It
do to them?
turns a crit into a regular hit.
Ooh. Like all the time?
Every crit is negated.
Like you can't be crit?
Yes.
Whoa.
Would have been a good fight to be wearing.
Mm-hmm. If I recall correctly, it doesn't look very nice though.
Yeah, it's always
think
like
It always
falls.
it always looks like it's kind of like raggedy looking.
Yes, it looks like it's sort of like tarnished and rusting. Yeah. Plus, the adamantine is originally is quite a it's not a very shiny metal. It's not like say mithril, which is like very
Very shiny.
shiny. This is quite the opposite. It's like almost like a matte surface to it.
Does anybody want a maul? Because otherwise,
So Varius just kind of like scoffs at that.
I mean, I was planning on getting whatever we could for him back in town. It's not really my weapon of choice.
Yes, sling them and we'll see what we can get.
Hell, every little bit's gonna help right now.
Exactly.
You're able to take your 10 minutes to rest up, and you do feel significantly improved as a result. Did you get about 15 minutes from town? So Varius, you become aware of the presence of Kedox, your familiar. Lets you know that he is within a mile of you. As you keep walking, it doesn't feel like he's moving, though. He's not getting any closer to you besides your walking pace. And a mile, based on how fast you're walking and how far away from town you know you are, would put him in Delzimer.
Okay.
And with that information, I think we need to bring this session to a close.
Woo.
That was a brutal fight.
I want to fight more wereboars.
It was not the fight I expected.
That was a very tough fight.
I don't know. That was a tense fight.
It was a little
Only
touch and go.
natural ones though.
I used
I'm-
all of my spells.
On the
I
way in the
apologize
woods.
for hogging all of the good rolls. I don't think I missed a single time. And I rolled like 2 crits.
Thank you for watching, everybody. Tune in next time to find out what happens next. If you are enjoying listening to Fables from Pickled Quipper, please do leave us a comment on whatever platform you're listening, as that will help other people find it. And that would, that just helps us, encourages us, and lets more people know about our podcast. We're very proud of it. And we would like more people to hear it. Thank you for listening, or watching if you're on YouTube. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.